Hello everyone, and welcome to CRPS Contender, my complex regional pain syndrome education channel. Today's video is Highway to Hell, Neuroplasticity and Sensitization, Symptoms. This video is part of my Mind as Matter mega-series, so if you would like to watch these in a particular order, here is the listicle for you. Let's hop right into the content. If you have not watched the physiology video of how pain changes the brain, you should watch that one before you watch this one, because otherwise this one probably won't make much sense. So, what are the symptoms of changed neuroplasticity? One is central nervous system sensitization. During this symptom, the body becomes highly sensitive to potential threats, resulting in more pain more often, and the pain becomes self-sustaining. This is a major area of how your perception of the world affects your physical health, because it doesn't depend much on you actually being threatened, but rather on whether you perceive that you are threatened. Cns sensitization causes one to have a greater receptivity field with increased nociception output, which means your threat receptors are firing more often. You have too many pain messages coming in and not enough response messages going out. This means that pain occurs despite there being no apparent cause, and creates a distortion of sensation, particularly distortion to touch. This can cause painful numbness, itching, loss of sensation, partial or complete muscle weakness, abnormal, involuntary, irregular, jerky motions, and slow, writhing movements. CNS sensitization is directly responsible for the next ones I'm going to talk about here. So all of these next several symptoms occur because of CNS sensitization. Regional neuropathic pain. This is that burning nerve pain of your sympathetic nervous system, which can feel like being stabbed, shot, tingling, numbness, pins and needles, deep aching, electricity, lava, molten glass, forge hot iron, things of that nature. Allodynia, which is a pain response to a non-pain stimuli. This can include hot or cold temperatures, pressure, or brushing. Each of these have a particular name: thermal stimuli, static stimuli, or dynamic stimuli. Brushing is not talking specifically about like brushing your hair, but more brushing against something. Hyperalgesia is an out-of-proportion pain response to a pain stimuli that is not affected by a new injury or damage to an existing injury or the worsening of a medical condition. This usually occurs at or around the original site of injury, which is known as primary hyperalgesia, or when the pain spreads to other parts of the body, which is secondary hyperalgesia. You might also experience genitourinary issues, such as pelvic pain, gonadal dysfunction with your testes or ovaries, sexual dysfunction, painful intercourse, sexual anhedonia, which is where you are not having a pleasure response to the physical action of having an orgasm, kidney pain, bladder incontinence, which does not necessarily just mean, urinating on yourself, but could include things like the inability to control your bladder, constantly feeling like you need to urinate, going to the bathroom all of the time, strong smelling urine, bladder pain that is similar to a UTI, which causes discomfort while urinating. This is actually known as interstitial cystitis, which is all the physical components of a UTI without any bacteria there to cause it. And you might also experience difficulty releasing urine. You might also notice gastrointestinal dysfunction, which could be increased intensity of sensation inside your abdomen, a lowered threshold for visceral pain, dynamic, sharp, dull, or burning abdominal pain. You might experience constipation, bloating, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, gastrointestinal dysmotility, which is where you are not going through the digestive action of peristalsis, where food is getting moved through your digestive tract properly. Changes in your gut microflora. You might notice this pain happening in response to emotional or psychological triggers. This is known as the gut-brain connection. Your gut actually sends a ton of information to your brain because of the enteric system, which is where most of your serotonin is produced, actually. So any sort of psychological triggering is probably going to affect your digestive health. You might also notice issues in your intestinal permeability, which means you might not be getting the nutrients that you're eating, might not actually be being absorbed by your body, and you might develop new food intolerances that you didn't experience before. This can also affect your cardiac system, which means your heart is working less efficiently than normal. You might notice shortness of breath, fatigue, lower limb swelling, a rapid or irregular heartbeat, reduced ability to exercise, a lack of appetite, fluid retention, abdominal swelling, a persistent, ineffective cough, not having enough muscle power to pump blood, which is systolic dysfunction, or where your heart becomes stiff and loses some of its ability to relax, which is diastolic dysfunction. This is a chronic issue that gradually worsens over time. You might also notice a respiratory dysfunction. This means your blood is not containing enough oxygen, or it might be containing too much carbon dioxide. This can result in shortness of breath, difficulty with full lung expansion, ineffective cough, wheezing, rapid breathing, a bluish tint to the skin, lips, or nails. This happens when your cells are not receiving enough oxygen. This is known as hypoxia. Fatigue, chronic headache, anxiety, confusion, and this also is something that will probably gradually worsen. All of these things happen from central sensitization, and these ones specifically happen at the spinal cord from dorsal root ganglia dysfunction. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content I'm creating on this channel, and subscribe. You're welcome to share any of the videos on this channel. If you would like to contribute to my Patreon is listed below. As always, relevant sources will be linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you next time.